Hi everyone, it's the long-awaited video to compare the before and after of my 4-level ACDF. So I had C3 through C7 fused, for short version of it. Look back and check out all the videos I did before for the history there as to why I had to have this surgery and how I came to that point. So it's been 6 months now, a little over 6 months. I've gotten a lot of comments, a lot of requests to come to, how's your mobility and compare it. I apologize for not getting this out sooner. Honestly, I was pumping out a fair number of these videos during my leave of absence from work because I was on disability. I couldn't work, so I had tons of time on my hands, and and it was so soon, after the surgery and that whole ordeal, which is those of you going through that, you realize this is a really big, impactful time, really very stressful and all that. So it was great for me to get it off my chest and onto the interwebs. Probably wasn't the best place to put it, but I wanted to help those that may be going through this in the future. A relatively small percentage, it's maybe a couple percentage points out of the total number of ACDF surgeries. Only a couple percent actually are 4-level or more. Hopefully my story has given you hope if you're going through this, you or a loved one of yours. So without further ado, here is the before and after. I'm going to do a split screen. I mentioned in my prior videos that I had recorded the day before my surgery, August 9th. My surgery was August 10th, 2022. I recorded my mobility, left, right, up, down, both frontal view and side view. So I'm going to, I've got the videos down here in my other screen, those originals. I'm gonna basically mimic that so you can see a side by side. I haven't looked at it in months. I just looked at it now before I decided to hit record on this. And I gotta say, it looks to me like I haven't lost much, which is quite surprising. But let's see. We'll see how the video winds up. So here we go. So that's the front view. And here is the side view. Let me see how yep, this is how I did it. So that's that. I definitely feel like I've lost some mobility for sure, but it's not debilitating. It's not a huge, I wouldn't recommend this surgery. Let's be clear. I've been very clear about that throughout these videos. There are people that are getting these surgeries, ACDF surgeries, voluntarily. And technically every ACDF is voluntary. You have to give consent, but the reality is if you're where I was, I had to do it. My cord was so compressed in multiple spots, and I was losing strength quickly. I'd lost strength in my right arm. So there was no choice for me. If you're just dealing with some nerve pain, that sort of thing, I would suggest you do everything you can to avoid it, because it's been a long road. I went through PT, that helped, but really what helped the most was time. I really thought that I would start PT once I got the cervical collar, the hard collar off. I'd start PT, and 2 weeks at most, and I'd be good. My surgeon even kind of indicated, like, yeah, you're not even going to need PT. You'll be fine. He was probably right, in that he knew that this was just going to take a few months, couple of months at least, to get my mobility back. But I was thinking, if it didn't come back within a week or two, I was in trouble. And I got to tell you, it took about 2 months. So at about the 4-month mark, there was a marked post-surgery. There was a marked difference, and it's not been till probably the last 6 weeks where I feel like I'm probably at my max mobility. I don't know that I'll get much more. It has not hindered me. Once I got to around the 4.5-month mark, I do notice it when I'm trying to back up out of a parking spot. I don't think it's possible to drive after a 4-level ACDF unless you have a backup camera in your vehicle. The more cameras and indicators, probably the better. I was never a camera guy. I have one, but I was always the one to look back instead of you rely on the camera. Now I rely on the camera. I have no choice. I think I've probably overstated my physical activity in my prior videos. I play pickleball at least 4, usually 5 days a week, sometimes 6, 2+ hours per day, oftentimes. No problems there. Exercising, physical activity, anything like that. There's no negatives at this point. It's been, I feel very fortunate, and it's been a hell of a ride, and this will probably be my last video for a long time. My next follow-up with my surgeon is June of this year, and that's when we are expecting really, fingers crossed, that I will be fused across all 4 levels. When I saw him at the end of, right before Christmas in December, 3 of the 4 levels had fused together. There was C4-5 had not. And my surgeon had said that was the least concerning. We didn't expect any fusion at that point. It was pretty early. It was only 2 months in, but so it was great. But that one had not shown fusion above or below, with the vertebrae above or below at that point. I know that on the message boards and such, I haven't looked at them in months, quite frankly. The Facebook groups, they're all about fusion, fusion, fusion. But if you look at the data, it's there's a good percentage, if not the majority, non-unions or non-fusions don't result in pain or any symptoms. So it means you just go on with your life. So if you're at this stage of your post-surgery like me, or you just looking ahead, don't stress about that. I'm certainly not. I've gotten back to my life, and I've changed nothing. Once I was cleared, I went back to pretty much as much full physical activity as I could. It took me about 3-4 weeks before I could really ramp up. And since then, I'm as active as I ever was, and I'll continue to be for 50-something, now 50+ something year old guy. So I hope these videos have been encouraging, positive, and you know, if you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them based on my experience. And my experience, I suspect, is maybe an outlier. I don't know. I just know that you know, my surgeon and you know, the people that around me you know, have done a great job, and they seem to be like, yeah, you'll be fine the whole time. Whereas if you spend a little time on the internet for ACDF of any levels, looking at it and contemplating it, you hear a lot of horror stories, and it's just not that bad if you're prepared and you understand that you are going to, for lack of a better phrase, you're going to take a hit. This is not something you want to do for a little nerve pain. You do this because you have to, because you are going down a road of either paralysis or, you know, whatever the case may be. So it comes at a cost. It's been you know, it's been a great year in 2023 so far. I definitely never want to relive 2022, and that's where I'll wrap it up. Thank you all for watching and liking and subscribing and all that crap that YouTube likes. I don't really care. I have a job. I don't rely on this, but I know it can be. I've had some people tell me that it's hard to actually find these videos and find positive stories around multi-level ACDF. So if you can like and subscribe, or just like and comment, whatever you care to do, that would be great, and we can get the message out that it's not a death sentence. All right, everyone, take care and stay positive, and I wish you the best in your recovery or surgery, wherever you're at in this journey.